Bama Companies is a locally family-owned company. We make handheld pies, we make pizza dough, we make biscuits and other dessert items and food for the food service industry. We do hire team members that have been formerly incarcerated, that have not gone through agencies. We're open in our screening and hiring process to hiring team members from all facets of formerly the justice system.
Coming to Bama, that was a brand new beginning for me. I was arrested for endeavoring to manufacture methamphetamine, and I was looking at 15 years in prison. I spent a year in the county jail. It was a life-changing moment, for sure, and it was a major event in my life. I was 37 years old, and I finally realized, what am I going to do with my life?
I was convicted of manufacturing methamphetamine. I'd done 15 years in a federal penitentiary for that. When I first got released, nobody seemed to want to hire an ex-felon. It took me about 7 months before I finally got hired on here at Bama. They took me right in and made me part of their family.
So since I came to work at Bama, I always knew that I was going to have to work just a little bit harder, not just for Bama, but for myself as well, because I felt like I had some making up to do to give back to society because of the years that I had not been giving back.
I make a really good living here, which is amazing because I never thought I'd be able to have that for the rest of my life, just because of the felony in my background. And that's not the case at all, especially if there's more companies like Bama out there.
I am glad that Bama does not dismiss team members based on their legal history. You're overlooking a potentially great employee. Bama started Ban the Box approximately a year ago. We've changed our policies to incorporate diversity and inclusion through our hiring practices. And I feel like every company, if they don't do that, they're closing the door on potentially great employees that they can bring into their organization. Just like any other company, we're always looking for good people, and this is the same as any other avenue. You get just a more direct contact for those individuals who are ready and willing to work.
Pace-Beller Corporation buys used cell phones in the United States, sells the cell phones throughout the world, and brings US dollars back to the United States. I just think it's really important that we reach out to anybody we can to give them an opportunity, especially people who have been in the system. I mean, they deserve another chance. So that's what we do.
My crime consisted of me hacking into a bank and wiring out money and printing checks.
In my lifetime, I say I've been incarcerated in different jails in different states. And I'd say if you add them up, probably about 4 years.
The day that I was released, I picked up the phone and I called Tom Pace, and I spoke to him, and he told me to show up here the next morning.
Tom, he really helps. He really helps, you know. He makes you feel like you belong and like he's there to help you get where you need to be.
It was difficult finding a job due to the fact that I didn't have much skills. Most of my life was spent doing crime. And as soon as I said that I was a felon, it was over with. The job opportunity was basically over with. You know, it was real difficult. I went through a couple of small jobs before I started working here. I had read about Tom Pace, and then never thought that I would get to work for him, which was really awesome.
To give somebody that second chance or that another chance is something that really touches people's lives.
As an employer, we need to look at the current attitude of the individual. What do they want to do? Are they about making a contribution to life, or they just want to take? We want to attract people to our organization that are givers, people that want to make a positive difference in other people's lives. We want to hire people who have the right attitude, have the right skill sets. We're not so interested in someone's past behavior. If they're on the right track today, that's what's important. They could be someone that has a serious criminal background. But as long as they're on the right track today, that's what we're most interested in.
If I didn't have this job, I mean, I could be looking for work, I could be back in prison, I could be homeless. This job has done a lot in my life.
I believe that a lot of businesses need to give people another chance, because people are not really what they are when they made the mistake. You know, there's some reason why they made a mistake, but people are really good people, and I think they deserve another chance.
We're an organization that makes a difference. I mean, we care about the people that work here. Just because someone's broken the law and gotten caught doesn't mean that their future can't be bright and full of opportunities.
Finding employment after incarceration is one of the most important steps to a successful return to the community. While listening to this video, we encourage all of you to think about what changes you can make to your current hiring practices so that citizens returning to their communities are strongly considered for employment positions within your company.
Our mission at UniFirst is to provide service rental uniforms to our customers, provide them with janitorial supplies, and just make sure that their workers look presentable out there in the public eye. A quality employee with UniFirst would be someone that's honest, family-oriented, just someone that we could trust. The good thing about UniFirst is that we try to give people second chances. Phyllis Gilbert, she is an excellent employee. She's been with us for numerous years. She takes her job seriously. She takes her responsibilities seriously. So we are very proud to have her on staff and the leadership that she provides.
A lot of people won't hire people that has felonies or that's been in the trouble that I've been in. I was speeding and I got pulled over by Highway Patrol, and I did take a breathalyzer, and I had been drinking, and I went to jail. I went to court, and the judge told me that I was facing 10 years. And instead of the 10 years, it gave me 10 years deferred. And so I said, well, I admitted myself to St. Anthony Rehab Center, and I stayed there for 7 days, and I've been doing well.
In my past, I did do something wrong. I ended up with a felony. I come to UniFirst. I didn't think they would hire me because I did have that felony, and they did. They gave me a second chance.
For companies that are second-guessing themselves on hiring people with backgrounds, I think that they're doing themselves a great disservice, because everyone makes a mistake. Whether it's younger in your life or older, you need to have a second chance to redeem yourself. And that's one great thing about UniFirst, is that we provide those opportunities.
I mean, thanks to UniFirst, and I got a car, house, everything I needed. Great weight is lifted off my shoulder, because now I know I can do everything I needed to do for my kids and my wife. I am very, very lucky to have this job.
I think some people need a second chance because they might have made a mistake. They need a job, they have to live, they have children. So I think companies should hire felons.
To all the businesses out there that are wanting to try to hire a person that has been incarcerated like UniFirst, it's been a great experience for us. The people have worked out great. I would tell you myself, I would not be sitting here with the Department of Justice if I didn't believe this to be true. We can look on paper all day long and see that you've had something bad on your background, but it's just you as a person. When you walk in that door, we want to feel like you're honest, we're honest, we can trust you, you can trust us, and we'll have a great relationship.
Started Will Joe Interiors in 1997 with just a couple of employees. I always like to joke and say it was a $5 bill and a bucket of tools. And then it's grown into, we got about 250 to 260 right now in 3 markets. We do hire people that have felony convictions. If you can find the right person, it doesn't really matter where they've come from or what they've been through. And if they do have a felony conviction, it doesn't mean that they're horrible. It means they made a mistake. When Mark Fenimore first started working for Will Joe Interiors, he came on as a painter, and he did some walkover and then some finish work, and then he shortly got himself into a position where he could actually be a supervisor on our job sites.
I was into selling marijuana at the time on a large level. I was sentenced to 12 years nonviolent. I was part of an undercover drug sting that I basically drove right into. In the time that I did get released and came home, had I not had a second chance through Will Joe and Tears and Jamie personally taking his time to evaluate me as a person, I would have never had a second chance at having a life again, ever. And I don't know that I would have tried as hard. To be able to provide for the family and the things that it needs, to raise 2 kids and have 2 car payments and all that stuff without doing anything illegal is probably my life's achievement.
If you can find the right person, it doesn't really matter where they've come from or what they've been through. And everybody needs a second chance, so I just feel like it's the right thing to do.
Today we employ a total of 9 people on staff. We have barbers and stylists. We've got an apprenticeship program that we also utilize where I personally train a barber to be an apprentice barber for a period of 18 to 24 months. I'm proud of that because a couple of those have been previous felons. And so one of the things that I've done and have promised myself that I would do is always hire someone regardless of their background. If you could come to me and convince me that today you're a different person and today is an opportunity for us to work together and both of us generate some income and make a quality living together, we'll get past your past. If you tell me you're a convicted felon, I want to know what your felony was just as quickly as I'm willing to tell you what mine was. I got convicted of trafficking narcotics across the country with a group of guys that were serious about drug selling and drug dealing. I was incarcerated in 1986 in the federal system at El Reno Federal Penitentiary in El Reno, Oklahoma. And while I was there, I began going down to the barbershop within the facility and started cutting my own hair. I found out I had a talent for it, and various gentlemen would come down and say, well, hey, can you cut mine? So I began to cut other people's hair, and that led me to gain some skill just by repetition and continuing to try. And I knew that at some point in time when I became an entrepreneur, I would hire people as well who had been incarcerated. Every skill that I'm using today to earn a living, I learned while I was incarcerated. When you come home from an incarcerated situation, it's important to get gainful employment. I've helped people earn a livable wage where they can change the course of their lives, change their cars, change going from renting to owning, change from going to working for us to being able to employ someone else. Those are things I'm proud of as a business person. A company that won't give a person a second chance due to an incarceration or due to a felony, it's unfortunate. I think you miss out on an opportunity to hire some people that are quality people that have made mistakes in their lives. It not only created loyalty in me that someone hired me as a convicted felon, it created a huge degree of loyalty on my behalf towards him and that company, and it's something that I highly suggest. It's worked for us, I believe it can work for you.
United States attorneys in Oklahoma are working with federal and state agencies to help ensure that returning citizens have the resources, training, and education they need in order to find a job. Having a job is the first step towards reintegration and rebuilding confidence. We encourage all employers to think about what changes they can make to their current hiring practices so citizens returning to society are strongly considered for positions within your organization. Maintaining employment is critical to their success, and you could be part of that success by giving them a second chance. Make the hire.